This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where we are here to talk about the sim racing news, and you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show, and thank you for being here just to sit down and talk about sim racing and what's going on in our favorite hobby, sport, or common interest, that being sim racing. So, hope you're all having a good day. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there, and a little bit of a slow day in sim racing. I can say that. We're not going to be here for a terribly long show. Yesterday was a long show. Today will be a little bit more of a normal pace, and we have just some basic tidbits of news to cover, and then we'll move on to other things. Monica, we had a Monica night last night, that's for sure, Joa. Monica! Anyway, we'll get back to that Monica statement. For those who don't know, it's sort of an inside joke with the patron group and a lot of the regulars, but Forza, so they talked about their cars, their new cars, and the update coming. Anyway, it's been backed off, so they have pushed it back. It'll be later in the week. I think I saw somewhere they said the 12th would be the release date, which would be Thursday. But you can still expect it this week. It just has been delayed. So if you're logging in and not finding it, there's a reason why. Project Cars 2, this is the beginning of Season 3. Their triple threat is going on. They have various different racing in the GT3, GT4, GT5. Thrustmaster sponsorship, Project Cars sanctioned racing, and if you're looking, I know somebody just this morning, someone said they downloaded or currently downloading, it was Greg, said that he was downloading Project Cars 2, so here's some online competitions that you can get right into when you get going with that. And, you all saying hello to each other. I love it. See, this is the whole point of the pit crew, the patron program, and even the pit stops, and having this community thing where we can all come and hang out and just BS and talk sim racing. So I love seeing you guys, saying hello to each other, all the regulars who know each other. That's really awesome. Tomorrow night, this was posted yesterday, so this would be tonight, is the iRacing NASCAR Peak Antifreeze NASCAR World Championship Series, and that will be televised this evening. You can go find that through iRacing.com. So if you're just looking for nighttime racing, during the week we don't find our real life racing. It was a great racing weekend on TV this weekend, but now we're into the midweek and it's online where we can go check out the best of the best in our world. So there you go. FA Racing G2, these guys are still tearing it up. Arlene Melee with another top of the post. Another top of the leaderboard by him. Michael Clark, you are too much. You really go way above and beyond. Thank you. Thank you so much. Max, you're getting even more treats. I already ordered you treats, and now we have to order you more. So I super duper appreciate it. Thank you. But Arlene Melee doing things. Also, there's a video here. If you want to see how Nestor, he's been the dirt leaderboard guy. You want to see how he gets it done. And I watched this video, or a portion of it, and was pretty blown away. Michael Clark! No, not when we wreck, though. Monica's for wrecking. We can't make Michael the name of when we wreck. Anyway, you want to see the way he gets it done. And, man, you can see where he pitches the car or where he drives it nice. Sometimes in this lap you watch, sometimes he's driving it like a dirt type car rally, and sometimes he's driving it like a Formula 1. So if you want to just see and you wonder how are these guys so darn fast, well, look at the way he throws it into this corner. It's how you get your controls to work with the game is critical. This is insight as to how one of the best dirt players on earth gets it done. So that's at Logitech's site. Yesterday, we brought up the Hamilton Verstappen, and we talked about Hamilton in his comments. Anyway, if anybody didn't know, Sebastian Vettel was very quick to jump to Hamilton's defense when the questions started rolling in, and he basically equated it to, like, you guys stick a mic in our face like the equivalent to when a football player gets tackled, and it's like, if you had a live mic on him at that point and he thought he got fouled maybe, you don't think you'd hear some atrocious... Max, hey, buddy. Hey. There's no stopping it. So, anyway, if you put a mic... Max, come on, buddy. Come here. Come here. Sorry, guys. Come here. Come here. Right here. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. No barks. But yeah, if you were to put a mic right in the face of a football player as he was being tackled or even fouled, you'd hear some atrocious things from him. You know, in F1, they do that to these drivers, so he kind of excused. He stepped in Hamilton's defense, so that was kind of cool. If you have a gold membership with Xbox One, they have a huge sale going on right now. So I started going through this looking for titles, and then I realized this was the phone book of games. So basically, if you do have a gold account, right now they have huge sales through the gold on titles, full-blown titles. So Steam King says, hi, Max. We talked about this game, and I'm just letting you know early access starts tomorrow. So this will be up on Steam. Double Kick Heroes. This is that fighting off zombies and farm animals, it looks like, and shooting and driving, and it looks quite amusing. No idea the cost on this game for early access, but that will come out tomorrow. Look at this score, though. We won't recommend it just yet, but we have high hopes that it will be better. Early access score, 4 of 10. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that title anymore, but it does amuse me. The guy playing a guitar in the driver's seat, the whole band is playing in the car while the car is shooting the things behind it. And it looks like a game from, what, 30 years? Blast from the past, it should call it, not Blast or Die. TT Isle of Man, there's a full review at Total Gaming Addicts. And the reason I'm mentioning it isn't so much because Gaming Addicts has a review, and I'm sure their review is much more in-depth than what I did last night. But last night for Monday Fun Day, I took TT Isle of Man out for a ride, and I had a lot of fun. If you want to check that stream out, it was a Monday Fun Day for me, and the amount of times I crashed, it was pretty funny. So it did qualify for a Monday Fun Day. At the very, very end, I did start to get the feel, and riding a motorcycle is nothing like driving a car. It is not going to be an automated thing for a real-life racer to become a real-life motorcycle racer. I think motorcycle racers could probably adapt to cars 100 times faster than car guys could adapt to bikes. But it was a real challenge, and it was fun. Max, come here. Come here. I hear the gardeners, too. Come on. Those aren't even our gardeners. Come. Sit. You be quiet. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. You stay and be quiet and be calm. So, TT Isle Man, I'm sorry for all the disturbances and distractions, you guys. I can't account for everything when it comes to live. But, I love that game because it adds speed, if that's what you're talking about, Michael. The speed sensation in TT Isle of Man was one of my favorite aspects. But here's a full write-up, a full review. I've been asked. They gave it a 7. From what I saw, I think that's about fair. I think I might have even gone as far as an 8 because I didn't expect it to be sim. But I think the AI were a little simplistic. Certain things, the crashes were a little lackluster, even though they were kind of devastating. Anyway, Steam King's in the audience here today. I'm not sure if trains and buses, is it the mass commuter aspect, or is it you like trains? But Bus Simulator 18 is dated. First gameplay trailer is out. So, synchronized multiplayer, it said. So, if your dream has always been to be Ralph Cramden, and anybody my age knows what I'm talking about, or older, anybody younger has no idea. But if you always had a dream of being a bus driver, you can check this out, and its date is June 20th. So, it's coming soon. Onrush finally shows some gameplay, so they did a little thing with some video. This is at Fansided, and it's them getting to play and talk about it, kind of like what I do with a Monday Fun Day kind of thing, just sort of testing it out and talking about it as they speak. So if you have interest in Onrush, which my interest is that much, you can check that out. Yeah, Bus Simulator. I don't know. Maybe they do have a double-decker. Is it all American, or? Yeah, it looks pretty consistent to that style of bus. But who knows? Maybe there's more in it. It is still a ways away. To the moon! You know what I'm talking about, Michael. Norton! William Bucho knows what I'm talking about. Forklift simulator. I bet there is one. I bet there really is one. Interesting article, sort of stating the obvious. Editorial, why do we need physical games? And they go on to talk about the concept of, what if Steam folded one day? What if they had a bad year, a lawsuit, and it took them under, and they closed up shop? What would happen to your games? What would happen to your downloads? What would happen to your achievements? What would happen to a lot of money? It could happen. I mean, owning it online is completely different than the old days of the physical game. And I still miss the days of having an instruction manual so that while my game was installing, I'd read the manual. I watched my brother got a new game the other day on his Xbox, and it took an hour or so to download. And he literally had to turn the TV off or go back to television and wait to download. And he couldn't even get psyched up for the game. Back in the day, I would have been reading. How do I do the controls? How do I throw the bombs? How do I whatever? Those days are gone. I mentioned the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, is that what it is? World Wrestling Entertainment, I think it is. Anyway, they had their Rocket League content. And apparently, if you want some of that content, if you go to the main menu in Rocket League, go to Extras, and then go to Redeem Coupon, and you type in WrestleMania, you will get a couple of the items from that content. So anyway, freebie stuff you should know about. There is the redemption code. So yeah, go to Extras in the main menu of Rocket League and you can pick that up. Here's a cool article about what will gaming be like in 2022. And they show the PS5, which is sort of funny because that's coming soon. Yeah, I guess we'll still be on the PS5, but as far as I know, that's coming before then. So anyway, and the Switch. So anyway, it's their concept on the future of gaming, and you can check that out at Link Cable if you're interested. This is kind of cool. Or not cool, I should say. Ronda Rousey, yes, I almost mentioned that. Funny enough, you say that, RF. I watched Rowdy Piper, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and I thought she did actually pretty well, converting from MMA to World Wrestling. You know, I haven't watched wrestling in a long time, and I watched bits and pieces of that match, and thought, you know, if there was ever a girl who could do it, it's her. She's tough. She's mean, she's got dexterity and skills, and she's not bad on the eyes. So, you can get an Alien Deskwear with a Core i5-8400 and a GTX 1080 Ti for $1,400. We just yesterday were looking at the video card prices, and if I'm not mistaken, that card on its own is still holding $900. But you can get this whole Alienware computer ready to go for $1,400. That does sound like a pretty good deal for me. To me, I'm not a computer super aficionado. You guys out there who are, let us know. Is that a screaming good deal? Or is that a hold your money and build your own deal? Tech Power Up. The Man sends me stories from these guys. And this one's kind of cool. And I had a whole conversation from a guy deep in VR tech. And worked for one of those companies. And he basically said, yeah. Well, augmented reality is the real reality, and VR is a stepping stone to augmented reality. When you think of my pros and cons of VR, you can see it. I don't know how much clarity they can give you. Will that do it? I mean, if I see through the screen and see my background, it's not going to work for sim racing, but I don't know. Anyway, it's worth thinking about. To me, when you want to talk about 2022, you know, and this article on what will gaming be like, I think this is a lot more what gaming will be like in 2022. Just my personal thought. Hold the money. That's not a good deal. Decent deal. Not exceptional, but decent. Okay. Hold the money. Yeah, Nick, that's a good point. It is totally different. And that gets back to what I was saying. With VR, I can get 100% image. With AR, it depends on what you're doing. I could see a hybrid of the two being very nice. So AR, again, when I looked at the Samsung and I see those front cameras, I'm like, cool, so I can map a button and use those to see outside of my mask, right? No, but wouldn't that have been cool? Anyway, iRacing has their power rankings up, and this is the change in positions in the World Championship, the peak antifreeze NASCAR iRacing Series. Ryan Lusa is on top of the world right now, no change. Keegan Leahy up 1, Ray Alfala up 1, Logan Clampett up 1, Jimmy Mullis up 2, all at the expense of Michael Conti, who's down 4 positions. So it just gives you an idea of the who's who in iRacing NASCAR peak antifreeze series. I have an alien laptop that I'm pretty happy with. Depending on the RAM storage that Alienware could be. Let's go double check it then. 1 terabyte hard drive. 16 gigabytes of RAM in that configuration. So, betting. The betting god launches their esport betting tipster service. So we talked about it coming. It's here. And at this point with them, you can bet on League of Legends, Overwatch, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike Go. Crazy. You know, don't gamble. That's going to be my little rant of the day. Don't gamble. Gambling is a dangerous... I was going to call it a hobby. I don't know if I want to call it a hobby. Gambling is not a good use of money and intelligence, in my opinion. So save your money. You talk about keep your money. Don't gamble. But they have done it. Gambling to esports is coming. You might be able to gamble on the Formula 1 championship coming. Who knows? Yeah, I think the difference is an i5 is great for gaming, but if you do beyond that, like me for streaming, I'd be better served by the i7 with the multiple cores, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and you want my proof that gambling is not intelligent? Look at Vegas. How do you think they built all that crap? And by the way, Vegas is disgusting now. It has become so overbuilt with crap and other people's money. All of that is at our expense. If you've gone there and you've lost money, yeah, no, you're right, Brad. I might have. Who knows? I'm not a big fan for it. I don't see the Discord news. It's not in the right spot. Oh, you send it directly, Falcon? We did mention that was coming. Has it launched? Yes, it has. All right. So we mentioned it was coming. Here it is. Thank you, Wolfie. On Kickstarter, it is launched. Look, they are already up to 53,000 of their $60,000 goal. So is that what it costs to develop a wheel once you have a prototype? 60 grand? Is that what it costs to go into production? That seems light to me. And if they've hit it that fast, they've probably underdone their campaign. But they can take more than that. So right now, the $149 pledge gets you the pedals. I can tell you, you know, we could argue all day about the wheel. That's a decent set of pedals for $149. Now, what's the difference between that and $199? I don't even see the difference between these two. You get Feel VR pedals or Feel VR pedals with the same description, okay? $399 gets you the wheel. $449 gets you the wheel and same thing, like 2 stages of the wheel. I don't understand that. Oh, you know what? I'll bet you one of these expires. One of these is the early bird and then it jumps up, but they haven't define that in their description. Sorry to go on about this. I'm just fascinated by a new new company in our world. So anyway, $549 is the bundle. And I believe the bundle includes both steering rims. So anyway, there you go. All the information. This is the most thorough information in one spot they've had yet. You had to kind of take all the emails if you were on their list and put them together to get this. But you can see that this is quite a bit of information now. This is actually phenomenal. Hey, look at that. That was my chance to tell you guys about it. Question and answer session. Anyway, thanks for that last minute news, and we'll move on. We're almost done for the day. Actually, I'm down to my last story, and that's Lionheart Racing Series, and this is one of the series I'm sponsoring. And yeah, Darren, that's a very relevant point. And I'm not trying to single out Feel VR. My opinion on Kickstarter in general is fairly sour. You know, I am not encouraging anybody to go take their hard-earned money and put it on a gamble. And when I think of any company and just about any product in our world, the very, very first gen aren't always the best. They need more feedback. They need more refinement. So anyway, I'm not telling people to. You know, here's the other thing. When you're a real hobbyist, sometimes you want to be on that learning curve. Sometimes you want to be on that leading edge. And I think there are a lot of people who are going to buy it in order to just be one of the ones who can talk about it and say, hey, I got it first. And I think that that's okay. Those people accept the gambling. See, we talked about gambling. So, but yeah, anyway, I think it's very interesting that we have a new player in the world. I've driven it, and I can tell you it's not like Mad Catz talking about building a new wheel. But it's still a new wheel. We don't know. There were still things that needed to be fixed that I talked about in that Q&A session. There are still things they acknowledge they need to fix, and that is a lot of unknown between taking your money and when they get it. And then the other thing is, if you know, mixed feeling. All right, we're turning this into a rant, but that's the point of the pit stop, is to have conversations about sim racing. One of my problems with Kickstarter is that, yes, you are getting something in return, a wheel, a pedal, or whatever. But that money that you're getting is product once it's developed. You're giving them the investment to build a company. And if I wanted to build a company tomorrow, I would need to take outside investors and give away part of my company. And the only reason I bring this up is, you know, you think of the best example in the world, Oculus. Would Oculus have ever grown without its Kickstarter? Now, everybody who got in got a dev kit, and then they got a early production model with a nice thank you letter. Meanwhile, the guy who owned Oculus got, what, billions of dollars. If you compare, we did a thing, and I think if you had done dollar to share on Oculus back in its original day, that you would have had, your investment would be worth $45,000 today. So that, I think it was $299 or $399. It would be worth $45,000. But hey, you got an Oculus. So, mixed feelings on Kickstart, and I'm not saying any of this about Feel VR. Sorry, I bumped the mic. I'm not saying any of this about Feel VR. It's not pointing finger at them. When I point a finger at them, I think about any other company that launched a wheel and had difficulties in the beginning getting it just right. All right, that's the end of the rant, but it was a rant based on conversation from you guys, so thank you. You can check out my Q&A. You can go to their Kickstart, get all sorts of information there. You can see Williams' first look at it where they had some issues. Lots of information now. That's the difference, is now there's a lot of information, so you can at least take that gamble or make that investment wiser than we could have a while ago. I think that is how I'll finish that topic. So back to Lionheart. I am sponsoring the guys at Lionheart. Great series. It's a series I've watched for years on iRacing. Really the dominant, or the biggest IndyCar series. They do an IndyCar and a retro. They just ran their retro race. And if you want to, you can check that race out, on GSRC. So you can see the full broadcast. And what was cool about this race is that new to the series, Alex Saunders was basically new to the series and just came in and just took over. So a new guy comes in, and after the race and after winning, and you can get the results and all this at Lionheart website, but You know, he beat out Ryan Otis and Justin Weaver, and after the race and talking to the GSRC guys, he just said, hey, you know what? This is my favorite car in iRacing. So, a new guy to look out for in the Lionheart series, and that being Alex Saunders. So, congratulations to him, and we'll stay with them, you know, throughout the rest of their series and season, along with their IndyCar series. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just something else we did yesterday, and that was yesterday, the Michael Clark Challenge. And we're going to probably do some more stuff like this in the future. This was a lot of fun. We just threw it at you spontaneously because I didn't know if I could host it and how it would all play out. So basically, he put $50. Actually, it's more than that. First, second, and third. And those guys, I'm going to contact you right after this show. I have your email addresses, and I'll get you your money sent to you right away via PayPal, thanks to Michael Clark, who put up the bounty. But we did 5 laps at Bathurst. If you need a good laugh, if you're having a rough day, go to our YouTube channel and look up the Michael Clark Simpit challenge with the Reliant Robin at Bathurst, and I guarantee you will laugh. If you don't laugh, you send me an email, and we'll talk about why you don't have humor in your life and don't see the humor of things. Beyond that, last thing I'm going to promote, actually one more thing I will talk about is yesterday I also did a first look. It was Monday Fun Day, trying out TT Isle of Man. Now, this is a serious title. It's not a Grand Theft Auto type or much of the things that we've done to get laughs like Wreckfest. It's a serious racing game, but I'm so terrible at bike games that I knew that I would crash a lot. So that did make it humorous. It did make it a distraction game for someone like me, and therefore it was actually an hour of laughs and fun. At the very end, I started to get it. I think I could actually do rather well if I got serious about it, but it's so much harder than driving a car. I'll just say, for people who race bikes, my hat's off to you. That is difficult, and I think they emulate that in the game rather well. So if you like bike games, street bikes in particular, TT Isle Man is the craziest race on earth, and it does give you a good sensation of speed and a good sensation of riding a bike, a motorcycle, I should say. So that is it. The last thing I was going to leave you with before I go is don't forget about the Simpit Pit Crew channel. Now, we just got this launched. It's still really in its beginning stages. Dave Blair is just on fire putting out videos. But if you're looking for, like, the Lotus race, I got crashed out. Maybe you want to see how the race played out from somebody who actually was able to finish, or who had a different viewing point. So a lot of the SRS races are on there. Some of his interpretation, he's a big Forza fan, and I have 2 more people already lined up sending content. So we're going to get things sorted and cleaned up there, like playlists, but do check out and go subscribe to the Simpit Pit Crew channel. And that is going to do it for today. That was my light news day. Still took a half an hour to get it out of my mouth. I'm glad we had a few good conversations and topics. That's my favorite thing about this, the pit stop, is when we do get something that we can talk about and, you know, just really go into depth on. And that's when we know what's the top of the news. So that is going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be back tomorrow morning with another edition of the Pit Stop. And I'll be off for the rest of the day working on edited content, which, as you know, I'm very behind on, but it's all in the works. Have a good one. Get out there and race. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.